Okay? And then he says, no, that ain't good for you to be drinking like that. You understand? I mean, I knew that drinking was wrong. Okay? It's just my motive wasn't coming to the altar, let me come and get delivered. Okay? It was to have a relationship with God, and it starts from there, and God begins to work in you. And the Word says He's in you to willing to act according to His purpose. So when I quit smoking cigarettes, it wasn't because I said I want to quit smoking. It was because out of a relationship on the back row of the church, I sat there and I was having a conversation with God, and God dealt with my heart about it, and I threw the cigarettes down in the church parking lot that night when I fled. A friend of mine picked them up, he didn't feed a litter, put them in his pocket. They got mailed back to me just recently, actually, in the mail. And so he's passed on his widow, sent them to me. So it's kind of neat to have them. You know, I got them laying by my bed there. I got a little box. You know, in the box, there's a whole bunch of stuff, you know, the reminders of what I used to be and things like that. Long-haired picture, you know, just in case my wife doesn't feel blessed to have me, I just show her, how do you know? She's like, I wouldn't have married that. So when I was single, I need to get my mind in perspective. I didn't do it on my own. I went to an altar. I remember one Wednesday night, I went to the altar, and God began to do a work in my mind and my heart as I made some confessions and professions to Him of what I was going to do with my life, and He gave me the power to do it. And so what am I saying with all this? You can't control your life. I can't control my life. It's a relationship with God in you, and because of that, you can control. Your life can become manageable. You can walk as a healed person, as a whole person. Don't leave here and say, Skip says you can't control your life. I can't quit it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that your natural self, don't try to white knuckle it. Don't try to make it happen when it can't happen until you're born again. We prop people up on that. People need to recognize that they are, you're either a saint or a sinner. Okay? I'm just being honest. You're one or the other. Saint doesn't mean perfect, it just means God's saying He set you apart. It's His. Okay? And if He hasn't done that, then you're living life according to your own will. And I'm taking a long time, and my voice will not bring it down. Start admitting our powerlessness in our sinful state. So that's bringing us to a place where we start to recognize we can't do it in our own natural ability. So we admit that we're powerless in our sinful state. We need to start doing that. What did Paul say? He said, Jesus said to Paul, my grace is sufficient for you. Okay? He said, there's enough of it to take care of your weakness. That's what he said. I got enough grace to make up for your weakness. Okay? He says, my strength is made perfect in weakness. He said, the power of God is made known in weak vessels. It's not made known in arrogant, cocky vessels. Okay? It's made known in vessels who recognize they need to depend on Him. Okay? Therefore, most gladly, he said, most gladly I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Okay? So don't be afraid to admit weakness. For admission is a sign of strength. Some were raised, don't show any kind of emotion, don't show weakness, don't ever cry, we were raised that way. Perhaps, older generations, a lot of times were raised that way, especially. Even some of you, your mom may have said, quit crying. I'll give you something to cry about, right? And I've said it myself. Quit crying, I'll give you something to cry about. And don't really help. But we need to be willing to show weakness. Then we can start admitting that our lives have become unmanageable. Okay? We can't manage them. Okay? What we're talking about is lordship. Okay? Unmanageable. Who's supposed to manage our life anyway? I mean, are we supposed to manage our own life? Are we supposed to govern our own life? You can't do it without Him. He can't do it without you. Okay? And the Scripture says, the government shall be upon His shoulders. And where does He live? He lives inside of you when you invite Him in. Okay? So, Christ in you, the hope of glory, governs your life as you yield to Him. Okay? But if you don't yield to Him, He didn't get the opportunity to govern your life the way He wants to govern it. When a woman says, I'm not going to allow that again, or put myself in that position again, it ends up there, what she's done, she's failed to manage her own life. Okay? When a man confesses he isn't going to use, and yet he uses, he's failed to manage his own life. It's good to come to a place of admission. It might not just be an addiction. When somebody says, you know what, I got to quit using my credit card excessively. I got to quit shopping. I got to quit buying clothes. I don't need it. And yet when they continue to do it, they're saying, I can't manage my life. But they might not be saying it, but their credit card saying it. You start, you say, I'm never going to hit my husband again. You need to listen to this. I'm never going to hit my husband again. And yet, you lose your temper and hit your husband.
She can't hurt him.
Because I know we're human and this has probably happened to us, I'm sure of it. But the fact of the matter is, it is a sign that you can't manage your emotions. So who's supposed to manage those? You are to turn your life and your will over to God. Let Him govern you from the inside of your life. Okay? When things happen that prove your unmanageable skills over your life, go to God in weakness, not denial. Okay? Doesn't mean you have to come into the church and tell everybody, I hit Chip tonight. And I'm joking with you. But you don't have to tell everybody. Everybody don't have to know it. I mean, there might be some times when you need to tell the group, okay, that you did something. I need your prayer support. I don't ever do it again. Okay? But there might be some times when you feel so embarrassed that you just can't. And so you pick one person that you trust. Okay? Not everything has to be shared in the group. Some things can be shared one-on-one, and I suggest that when you're in group, that you listen to those and build relationships with those in that group and find those that you can talk to and you can trust 100%. Okay?